Hey, welcome back. This week we're going to be talking about bar chords. So, what are bar chords? Bar chords are chords where you hold down more than one string with your index finger. So, for example, like this is an F chord. A little hard to see there, but you can see my index finger here is actually holding down all 6 strings. It doesn't have to because it doesn't actually have to account for these other strings here, but it needs to be able to hold down more than one string. And I have a couple exercises to help with some bar chords that I'm going to give here in a minute. But first I want to talk about, techniques for a bar chord, because it's something that I think a lot of beginners struggle with. And this is just, let's just do this as an example. On the 3rd fret, I'm holding down all 6 strings with my index finger and playing them one at a time. So there is a technique to this. A lot of times, I think people get this idea in their head that their hands are not strong enough or their fingers are not strong enough. And that's not really the issue. The issue is more knowing how to hold the strings down properly and using the correct muscles to do it. So let me go to the guitar view here for a second. Maybe this will help. So there's 2 things here that I think are helpful when you're learning this. The first is, back to the view actually, it might be a little better. When I see beginners doing this, a lot of times, they're trying to hold down the fret with like this fleshy part of their finger here, like right in the middle of the finger. They're trying to put it on the fret. That's not what you want. What you want is to rotate your finger back just a hair. So you're actually holding down the strings with the edge of your finger. And the reason that's an advantage, one, is that it's just more comfortable. You get a better position that way. Another reason I think that's helpful is that when you use like the front of your finger, you have these gaps between, like where you have joints. And if a string gets caught in there, or it happens to fall in that area, it's going to be harder to hold it down. But the edge of your finger doesn't have those gaps as much. So it's easier to get a good hold using just a little bit of the edge of your finger. Again, don't overdo it. Just just a little bit off center. The other thing that's helpful when you're doing a bar, and this is the bit that's really hard to explain, but hopefully I can convey this well. You'll have a tendency to clamp to hold the strings, okay? And when I say clamp, I mean that you're taking your thumb and your fingers and you're like, holding it as hard as you can. That's not the best way to do it. And actually, I'm going to do this as an example. I can take my thumb off the back and still get a good bar. The reason I can do that is because I'm not clamping. So the way I'm actually doing that is I'm not using my hand so much as I'm using my whole arm. And this is something, again, it's hard to explain, and it's one of those things that eventually you just get it, but it helps to be aware of it early on. When you're playing guitar, you probably think it's like just in your hand, but a lot of the movements that you're making are really, once you start playing longer, you start using your whole arm to do it. And I know it seems silly because you're just making these little motions, and it doesn't seem like you're using your whole arm. But you totally are. And yeah, you'll just get used to that eventually. And hopefully it'll kind of fall into place. But maybe a way to practice that. Maybe you could just take your thumb. Maybe just try taking your thumb off the back and putting your finger on the bar, like on the fret, and pull back with your arm instead of clamping your hand. And don't overdo that either. I don't want you to hurt yourself. That's maybe just try that a couple times to kind of get a feel for what feels the most efficient. So yeah, normally when people give bar chords, they're normally talking about like these kind of standard bar chord shapes. I'm going to give a couple exercises that use bars across only a few strings at a time. So hopefully you can kind of build up a little bit of practice along the way. And the sheet that I have open here, it's in a PDF in the description below, the video description. There's a second version that has tablature if you don't want to read the sheet music. So yeah, feel free to print that out and follow along. So yeah, there's just, what do I got here? Got 3 exercises. So I'm going to start with exercise 1. I'm just going to play it and then walk you through it. So ready? Okay, and another thing that's kind of difficult about this example is that there are some big stretches in here. So yeah, start from measure 1. This is going to be an A minor chord. So I don't know if I've covered the Roman numerals at the top before. I don't think I have. The Roman numerals tell you what position to play in. So this one has V, which is 5, Roman numeral 3, and Roman numeral 1. So let me go back here for a second. So that's saying what fret your index finger is going to be on. So like if you see a Roman numeral 5, that means your index finger is on the 5th fret. In this case, I'm barring the C, E, and A, the 5th fret on the top 3 strings. Then I'm moving back to the 3rd position. And again, I know that's kind of a big stretch, so if you're really having a hard time with that, don't push yourself. It's okay to be happy with the first measure for now. Just get this concept of holding multiple strings with one finger, because that's the whole point of today. Let's go back to the music. Example 2. All right. Let's go ahead and play this one. Okay. See if I can go back to full view here. Let me see. Let me check something real quick. Okay. So let me play this again with this other view here that you can see a little better. I printed this out so that way the way I have my windows managed, it's kind of hard to keep it up while I have the video up here. So I'm going to play the exercise 2 one more time. Okay. And again, the point of this exercise is to get used to those bars. So you got this is an A minor chord. This B7 chord. I mean, it's just a B. It's just a B here. Actually, not a B7. You're gonna hold down to all 6 strings. For the A minor chord, you can just hold down the first 3. For the B major chord in the 7th position, you have to hold down all 6. You'll probably see that in the tablature. All right, last thing. This isn't really an exercise so much as I'm just giving you a couple, I guess, full bar chords to practice. So I have here an F and an F minor. And you can find these elsewhere too, written in other ways if the sheet music's a bit much. If you just look for F bar chord or F minor bar chord, you can find some fret diagrams. So the reason I picked these is because I would say they're probably the most physically difficult to play bar chords on the guitar. So if you can play these, you can probably play most bar chords. So yeah, the F minor chord is the same as the major, except you lift up your middle finger. Okay, and this one's even more difficult because you have to get a good bar for more strings. But yeah, if you're able to just bar all 6 strings, you're mostly good. So yeah, I'll stop there. Yeah, hopefully this was helpful. If it was, please like the video. If you want to be notified when I upload another, please subscribe. Thanks for stopping by.